The moment Ethan Walker reached for the velvet ring box in his jacket pocket, the door of the restaurant swung open with a force that made every head turn. His breath caught, not from nerves about the blind date, but from the impossible sight standing under the warm chandelier lights. The woman he had once loved, the woman who had disappeared from his life 3 years ago, stood there with a visible baby bump and eyes filled with fire and desperation. In that instant, Ethan realized that the past he had buried with success, discipline, and silence had just come back to claim its place, right in front of the future he was about to choose. Before the story unfolds any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the idea that broken stories can still be rewritten, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who loves emotional stories, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that need them. Ethan Walker was not just another successful man in America. He was the CEO everyone admired from a distance and envied in silence. His name was printed in business magazines, his face featured on conference banners, and his life appeared flawless from the outside. Yet beneath the tailored suits and boardroom confidence lived a man who had rebuilt himself from emotional ruin. Years ago, before the empire, before the recognition, Ethan had loved deeply and recklessly. He had believed in forever with the innocence of a man who thought love alone could protect two people from the storms of life. That belief shattered when his then-girlfriend, Grace Miller, walked away without explanation, leaving behind only unanswered questions and a silence that lasted for years. Grace's disappearance became the wound Ethan never spoke about. He buried it under long work hours, relentless ambition, and a carefully controlled life. He learned how to lead companies, negotiate million-dollar deals, and inspire teams, but he never learned how to fully open his heart again. Every relationship after Grace felt measured and distant, as if he was always holding something back. When friends insisted he try a blind date arranged by a charity board member named Hannah Collins, he reluctantly agreed. Hannah was known for her kindness, her steady faith, and her belief that people were more than their pasts. Ethan didn't expect love that night. He only hoped for peace. The restaurant was elegant yet warm, filled with soft music and golden light that reflected off polished wood and glass. Ethan arrived early, as he always did, choosing a quiet table near the window. He touched the ring box absent-mindedly, not because he planned to propose that evening, but because it symbolized something else. It represented his readiness to finally believe again. He had been seeing Hannah for months, slowly, carefully, letting trust rebuild brick by brick. Tonight, he planned to ask her to consider a future together, not with dramatic words, but with sincerity and patience. That was when Grace appeared. Time seemed to bend as she walked forward, her hand instinctively resting on her pregnant belly. She looked different, yet painfully familiar. Her hair was shorter, her face thinner, marked by exhaustion and regret, but her eyes were the same eyes that once looked at Ethan with hope. The room fell into an uncomfortable hush as whispers rippled through the tables. Grace's presence carried a storm of emotions that crashed into Ethan all at once: anger, confusion, heartbreak, and a fear he thought he had conquered. Grace had not come quietly. Her body language was charged, her gaze locked onto Ethan as if nothing else in the room existed. She moved closer, ignoring the startled staff and the curious diners. Her intention was clear without a single word spoken. She had come to reclaim something she believed was still hers. Ethan felt his chest tighten as memories flooded back. He remembered the small apartment they once shared, the nights they dreamed about building a life together, the promises whispered in moments of vulnerability. He also remembered the morning she left, the empty side of the bed, and the note that said she needed to find herself. No explanation, no goodbye, no chance for closure. That abandonment had shaped the man he became, teaching him to rely only on himself. Grace's return reopened that wound with brutal precision. Her pregnancy raised questions Ethan never expected to face. Was the child his? Had she left because of something she was hiding? Or was this simply another attempt to escape the consequences of her choices by reaching for the stability she once had with him? As Grace's eyes dropped to Ethan's hand resting near his jacket, realization flickered across her face. She understood what the ring meant. Panic and jealousy twisted her expression as she stepped closer, her movements urgent and desperate. The gesture she made toward his hand was instinctive, as if claiming the ring would somehow restore the life she had lost. In that moment, Ethan understood something profound. Grace was not standing there because of love. She was standing there because she was afraid. Afraid of being alone, afraid of raising a child without support, afraid of the reality her choices had created. And for the first time, Ethan felt compassion instead of resentment. He thought about the years Grace had been gone, the struggles she must have faced, and the courage it took to show up like this. He also thought about Hannah, who had shown him patience, honesty, and unwavering respect. Hannah, who believed in forgiveness without entitlement and love without manipulation. The room felt heavy with anticipation as Ethan stood up slowly, grounding himself in the present. He did not react with anger or humiliation, even though the situation could have easily turned into a spectacle. Instead, he chose dignity, the kind born from healing rather than pride. Grace's presence forced Ethan to confront the version of himself he used to be, but it also reminded him of the man he had become, a man who no longer chased what hurt him, a man who understood that love was not about possession, but about choice. As Ethan gently closed the ring box and placed it back into his pocket, something shifted inside him. The ring was no longer a symbol of escape from loneliness. It became a symbol of clarity. He realized that second chances were not always about going backward. Sometimes, they were about choosing differently when the past tried to pull you in. Grace's eyes followed every movement, her hope flickering like a fragile flame. But hope alone could not erase years of absence. Ethan acknowledged her with calm respect, offering support without promises he could not keep. He made it clear through his actions that while he cared about her well-being and the child's future, he could not sacrifice his present for a past built on uncertainty. Hannah arrived moments later, sensing the tension before understanding it. She did not react with anger or jealousy. Instead, she watched Ethan closely, trusting his character. That trust, more than anything else, confirmed Ethan's decision. Love that stands quietly during chaos is rare, and he knew he could not betray it. The night ended not with applause or drama, but with quiet resolution. Grace left the restaurant with tears she did not hide, yet there was relief in her steps. For the first time, she faced the consequences of her life honestly. Ethan watched her go, not with longing, but with acceptance. He silently hoped she would find strength, support, and peace, even if it was not with him. As Ethan and Hannah walked out together, the city lights reflected in the glass around them, symbolizing new beginnings. The past no longer had power over him. He had faced it, understood it, and let it go. Before we reach the end, please take a moment to comment below and share what this story made you feel. Your thoughts and emotions matter, and reading your comments helps this community grow stronger. Life rarely offers clean endings or perfect choices. Sometimes, it presents moments that test everything you believe about love, loyalty, and forgiveness. Ethan learned that night that kindness does not mean surrendering your future, and second chances do not always involve the same people. They involve the same heart choosing wiser paths. If this story touched your heart, reminded you of your own struggles, or inspired you to believe in healing and self-respect, please like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement keeps these stories alive and reaching those who need them most. In the end, Ethan did not lose his past or his future. He honored both by choosing honesty over fear and love over guilt. And sometimes that is the bravest decision a person can make.